Good afternoon. This is Tony Cherniawski, manager of the Practical Investor LLC, and this is my 2010 forecast for gold and the dollar. Today is January the 23rd, 2010. This video is meant for instruction and entertainment purposes only. This is not a solicitation to buy or sell any security. A purchase or sale of a security may result in a loss of principal. Please consult with an expert advisor who may explain the risks of any investment that you may consider. You cannot invest directly in an index. Well, hello. I hope your 2010 is going as well as it is for myself. And I would like to share my forecast for 2010 and a little bit beyond, starting with gold and the dollar. So let's go to the charts on gold first of all, and I'd like to explain what I'm looking at here. We're looking at a long-term view back to 1999 when gold bottomed at $252.50 an ounce. We've had quite a ride, and over 10 years later it topped out at $1224.40 on December the 3rd, 2009. But that wasn't the top of the Elliott wave. The top of the Elliott wave was March the 15th, 2008. There are several reasons I can say that. The first one is that the average gold cycle is just a little bit under 9 years long. So if we take a look at the gold cycle from the start in roughly, let's say, July of 1999, and if we took that to November of 2008, we get about an 8.5 year cycle in gold, which corresponds with the long-term cyclical forecasts that we see in gold. So basically, the wave B up is the start of a new cycle, and it's already topping as of the December 3rd high. Let's take a look a little bit further. I've laid out the Fibonacci's from the wave 5 high and come out with some different numbers than a lot of other analysts. Most analysts say that the 38.2% retracement is at 850, and by the way, they're claiming that that's probably going to be the bottom in gold and it's going to continue to go higher. Unfortunately, my analysis doesn't quite agree. First of all, the 38.2% retracement is about 735 in gold, so it's clearly more than 100 points lower. And if you look at the bottom trend line of the trading channel in gold, you can see that that comes out to about 750 right now. The important implications are that if this broadening channel is violated, the average decline is 20 to 25%. That would bring our target for gold down to about 550, which corresponds very nicely with the 68.2% retracement. So this is not going to happen immediately. What I'm suggesting is that we could probably see this unfold over the next year to year and a half. So just be prepared. And in addition to that, this pattern could change slightly, but as we're looking at a wave C, I believe that we can get a clearer picture once the first wave is completed. I believe that's what we've begun, and right now you can see the MACD and its histogram are quite negative right now, and telling us that there's more decline to come. Let's go to the dollar, and we can see here that we've also got 5 waves down to early 2008, probably somewhere around March as well. So the March high in gold corresponds with the March low in 2008 for the dollar. Both of those are labeled as wave 1s. This one is a supercycle wave 1 down. Gold very likely is a supercycle wave 1 up. Then we have a wave A that took about 1 year to complete, and we have now, that took us through the end of 2008. We now have declined into wave B at the end of 2009. You'll notice on wave B we have a small wedge formation. the wedge formation forecasts that the dollar will completely retrace this wave B down sometime in the very near future. So that's item number one I'd like to point out. And in addition to that, we have the Fibonacci levels. So the Fibonacci level is also at roughly 90 on the dollar for the 38.2% retracement, meaning that there's a very strong likelihood that the current rally that we're in now will come up to or maybe exceed 90 on the dollar index, the 38.2% retracement. Having said that, that also gives us the opportunity, once we get a pullback, for a head and shoulders pattern. I believe that we're probably working on the right inverse shoulder as we speak. And once we get above 90 in the dollar, the pattern forecasts that the head and shoulders minimum target would be 108.50, and the 0.786 retracement on the dollar is 110. So in other words, the dollar could go higher than the 682% retracement at 101.96. So I'd like to just bring that to your attention. We're going to watch this pattern unfold this year. My best guess right now is that we have a couple of important cycle tops coming up here, both in the dollar. The first would be sometime in April of this year, and then the second cycle top would probably be in July or August. So we can see how this thing unfolds over the next roughly 3 to 6 months. And it'll be interesting to see if we hit 90 by that point. Well, what I'd like to do now is just give you a summary of what I see happening here. Point number one is that we have a complete inverse relationship and completed patterns to the upside in gold and to the downside in the dollar. We're going to see those inverted relationships continue to function here for the next year to year and a half. We have patterns laid out, possibly to as high as 110 in the dollar. Right now, the pattern suggests a low of about 550, but if we do a 7.786 retracement, we could go much higher in gold as well. So I just don't see any indications of that yet. We'll just have to monitor that as we go. So again, the big view is a very strong rally in the dollar, a very strong potentially decline in gold for the year 2010. Sometime between now and roughly July and August, we should see the first installment taking place, with a potential possibility of the earlier decline bottom being sometime in April or early May. So with that, I would like to invite people to respond to this video by contacting me at thepracticalinvestor.com. And one of the things that you can do is request a free newsletter. I'd love to send it to you with the details on how you can become a subscriber. Please, only one sample per person, and we will be glad to respond and let you know the kind of work that I do on a daily basis with my subscribers and my clients. In the meantime, I hope you and your families have a great 2010, and by all means, please do the right thing.